Hi folks, this is Wyrd Daughter here, bringing you a little bit of a history lesson from our pagan past. Around this time of year, in the 11th century, there was a pagan man by the name of Olvir of Egg, who was killed and martyred for his continuing beliefs by the Christian king Olaf II. Where can you find a story? You can dig it up in the Saga of the Norse Kings. What was the nature of his story? Well, I'll be happy to tell you that. Olvir lived in the Trondheim fjord area of Norway, and it came to the king's attention that at the time of winter nights, that indeed pagan practices were continuing in this area. The king summons the men to him, among them Olvir, and gives them a stern warning. The men manage to sidestep the issue, playing it off that it's not quite as what the king thinks has happened, even though it really is. But then at Yule, it comes to the king's attention again, that indeed these pagan practices have continued. Angered, he summons again the men to come before him. And the men are hesitant. They were lucky to get away once. They really don't want to see him again. But Olvir ends up going. The king admonishes him severely, and even though Olvir tries to play it off as just a grand party, the king warns him he will get to the bottom of it and find the truth. Well, around the time of the Christian observance of Easter in King Olaf's court, again, it comes to the king's attention that a man loyal to him, called Thoraldi, gives damning evidence that indeed Olvir and the other men of the area have been continuing their pagan practices and have no signs of stopping. In this particular year, it falls to Olvir to make ready the feast, and he is preparing for the pagan high holy tide that we believe is Astara. It may have been called something different in this particular area. When the king summons a contingent of more than 300 men, they set sail, they reach the fjord. By nightfall, the troops have surrounded the homes and ensnared the local pagans in the dark of night. Olvir and some of his men are captured and killed immediately. Other homes are ransacked as the king tries to find others he feels are guilty. Some manage to successfully flee, but others are still caught. Their property is confiscated and penalty. The prisoners are then held awaiting a thing, which is a large gathering of the people where much business as well as legal judgments and sentences occurred. These other prisoners represented members of powerful families, and they were essentially being held hostage to force their families to capitulate and convert. Here was the death rattle of religion in this area, propelled in part by King Olaf's Christian agenda. Even though if you read the history, there's still some more rattles going on. The pagans did not pass quietly into that good night. But at this time of year, I like to raise a horn to Olvir. He died for his beliefs, and here we are, over 1,000 years later, and yet the gods are still being hailed. They are still being called. He is an ancestor of our tradition, and it is precious when we know any of their names. Hail Olvir, this Ostara.